everybody.
Bro, bro.
What up? Roiding out on a Sunday night with Creepshow. Welcome, everybody, to Witchfinger Horror Podcast. Let's get this Creepshow on the road.
Oh, shit. I feel, guys, I gotta, from the bottom of my heart, I have to say, it's been so long, and I love you guys, and I'm so happy that we're doing this again.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's been, like, so long since you've watched Creepshow.
Well, it has been, but I'm just happy. Man. Like, I feel like it's been a while, like, since we actually sat down.
We got Tom
Atkins.
Yeah, we got. So we just started the movie. We're watching Creepshow, and yeah, it's been a while since we recorded because our last episode was a live episode at Frightmare in the Falls.
A half episode too.
Yes, that's true because somebody before us was taking too long in the room.
Jesus Christ.
But we still got kicked out at the fucking appropriate time. But regardless, it was still really fun, and yeah. So it's pretty awesome. We're watching Creepshow right now with Tom Atkins without a mustache, which
which is so weird.
And we fucking met him.
Yeah, we did. He was so sweet. He's like almost wearing a sweater that reminds me of how cozy the sweater he was wearing was.
What a delightful man. He was very, very cute.
Still remember the feel of that sweater.
Yeah, it was so soft. And he held the hug for like longer than a stranger usually holds hugs.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, because he literally could be like, "Don't touch me, bitches."
Yeah. I half expect that every time I hug a celebrity.
I know.
Without asking them.
I know.
Because we just went in. We didn't. Yeah. We weren't respectful at all.
Because a lot of
no, not at all. We had zero respect, actually.
Well, here's the thing, though. We met Tom Atkins immediately after our live show. Yeah. Because we had to fucking haul ass. Because we had tickets for a photo op with Tom, and it started 5 minutes before our live show was over. So we were like, hey, we gotta fucking haul ass. Our friend Jen was with us, and I just basically was hauled my backpack at her and was like, please pack everything up. We gotta go meet Tom Atkins. And we ran down the stairs fucking drunk at 4 in the afternoon.
I know, because that's what we do.
I know. And then fucking we walked into the room where the photo ops were being taken, and we walked in there and we were like, ha, ha, hey, ha. And then he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm pretty sure we were the last people to get our photos. We snuck in right before I think they were switching people. Yep. So yeah, we kind of went in with a lot of gusto.
It was hilarious.
We were jazzed up from the fucking podcast anyways, so we were down there and we started jumping, and he was jumping too, and he was jumping and clapping and woo!
And we were all talking over each other, and he was looking at all of us okay, whoa, fucking take it down a notch.
We were we're sorry, Tom Atkins. We just did a live show, and we're so excited to meet you. Yeah. And your sweater is so fucking soft. That was some cashmere shit right there.
Yeah.
It's cashmere.
Yeah. First Seinfeld reference.
Right, of the night.
Yeah.
And there we are.
But yeah, that was a really fun event. Fun time. Megan actually ran into Tom Atkins at the end of the evening as well, and we were in the bathroom, I think.
I know.
Morgan, didn't
no, you guys were still in the.
Oh yeah, you ran to the bathroom
as usual.
Early.
I drink really, really fast when we're recording, always when we record live. And so I was running to the bathroom at the speed of light, and I ran into him, and then back ran like the backwards man, hey!
I'm the backwards man.
I'm the backwards man. And had a cute little chat with him, and his handler who was with him kind of gave me the cross eyes a little bit, bitch, please.
Come on. This is bitch, this is my grandfather. How about you fuck yourself?
And it's the end of the day, and he's an older guy, so I'm sure, she was kind of he's tired, give him a rest. But I just wanted to grab his shoulders and shake him like a baby. Because that's what you do with babies, right? You shake them really hard.
And throw them downstairs.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well, that's that new Studio House Designs shirt. Tom Atkins rules, such a fucking genius.
Want
that, and everyone who's listening to this probably knows, because it's blown up on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone's reposting that shirt. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, then you haven't lived. Just go check out Studio House Designs. Their new Tom Atkins Rules shirt is amazing. But anyways, okay, so let's start with some interesting facts about Creepshow, a.k.a. Megan's boyfriend's movie.
Stop it.
There's so many of Megan's boyfriends in this movie. I can't wait for you to just jizz all over this episode.
I was gonna say...
She's bracing herself.
I know. Her hands are, clenching the table right now.
But it's Ed Harris, who we just saw, who is kind of like all of our boyfriends at this point, but he's just so fucking
you can have Ed Harris,
hot.
girl.
Stephen King, Tom Savini, and okay, I'm gonna slip another one in there. Leslie Nielsen in this movie, he wears a sweater and he has the silver fox thing happening for him, and it's like, and you know what I'm talking about.
Like, there's something about his character in Creepshow, which is a complete opposite of what he's used to playing, right? Because he's obviously a very hilarious man,
like
he's
slapstick almost.
Yeah, he's a dick in this movie. Well, so yeah, basically, we'll get to Leslie Nielsen. So let's just go through the different stories. So we obviously just finished the prologue, and Tom Savini was the garbage man at the beginning of the movie. Tom Atkins without a mustache is just super weird.
I know.
It makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's one of those. He's one of those people that when you see what his true face looks like, you're like, just put the mustache back on.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing.
I agree. And I did not know this. I've seen Creepshow like a million times, but did you know the skeleton at the window's name is Raoul?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I learned that a while ago, but it's like not. What do you call it? Like not official. It's like on set. Yeah,
okay.
It was a
Oh,
nickname.
I see.
And the kid is Joe Hill.
That's right.
Stephen King's son.
Is it him?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wanted so badly his whole life to be separated from his father.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that he wasn't proud to be with him
or
whatever. Not only did he change his name, but he wanted to be respected for his work, right?
Of course.
So he hid the fact that Stephen King was his father so well that his own literary agent for years had no idea.
Really?
That he was working with Stephen King's son.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I can understand that. Like, what a huge shadow to try to crawl out from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously, like, writing is in Stephen King's blood, so I assume it would be in his son's blood as well.
I was just gonna say Lock and Key.
So good.
Oh fuck, Lock! You should read it.
Is
Morgan.
it?
It's
good?
His Joe Hill's graphic novel. It's awesome, and they actually they made a pilot. And it's got that guy who plays John Connor in Terminator 3 and the guy from Carnival. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Nick Stahl?
Yeah.
Nick Stahl. That's his name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they made a pilot and it didn't go anywhere.
What the fuck is Terminator 3?
It's nothing, actually. You don't need to know.
Is it the one with...
The woman Terminator? With, like, the fucking red pleather outfit.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You didn't know they made Terminator 3?
I know they just remade a couple of them a few years ago.
Yeah, like Terminator Genesis.
With the hot guy
I think number 3 is called Rise of the Machines, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then
I watched it recently again.
What was the fourth? Salvation.
Yeah, there's one.
Salvation was almost recent, kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
One's with Christian Bale. One's with the girl from Game of Thrones. Number 3 has Nick Stahl and Claire Danes. And
shut your fucking
mouth. I think it's Rise of the Machines.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
Claire Danes.
straight up.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't remember it at all. I saw it in theaters, and I
did as well. Actually, we probably saw it together. Yeah. But yeah, I have all the Terminator movies, and I watched it recently. Well, maybe it was in the last 2 months, just to refresh. But yeah, Nick Stahl is in it. Whatever happened to that guy?
Fuck, who knows?
That reminds me of Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll.
Who? Who's that?
Nick Kroll is the guy from The League.
That's Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Nick Kroll.
Amy Poehler's boyfriend.
Nick
He's
Kroll.
fucking hilarious.
Nick Kroll.
Have you ever seen his show, Kroll Show, when he plays a woman?
Yes.
It's amazing.
And he also wrote Big Mouth.
I didn't know
that Netflix cartoon about puberty.
Really?
It's very graphic.
I heard it's really funny.
It's very vagina oriented. It's
funny.
Well,
I like that. That's cool.
Vaginas are cool.
Anyways, we are straying.
I know.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what we do. Anyways, so we're at the Father's Day story, and yes, definitely this one has one of Megan's boyfriends, Ed Harris.
He looks good though. He has some hair.
He's trim.
He looks very. I mean, it's weird to see a guy who as the guy who plays all old guys in movies. He's always a general or a commander guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Or something, and it's to see him young. He's got beautiful blue eyes. He looks good, Megan. I'm into it.
I was doing some reading about him, and apparently he's really fucking serious on sets. Really serious. People don't even like to approach him, which I find funny. Because he's so fucking ridiculously silly in Creepshow. And, like, the part, I'm sorry, but his death, like, I can't watch it without being like, just get out of the way! Move. Just move out of the way.
I used to feel the same way, and then I thought, like, they portray his character to get progressively wasted. Like, he's fucking polluted, I suppose, maybe, but I agree with you. Deaths like that are super frustrating.
Yeah, when I think of frustrating deaths, like, this Creepshow, like, Ed Harris death, like, definitely is one that's, like, it's just... like insane to me. But
it's like that scene from Austin Powers where he's coming at him with like the roller and he's like,
move. That's amazing.
Anyway.
Well, he's also in that fucking other movie, Knight Riders. We tried to watch that.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
No, it wasn't very good.
That. Jousting with motorcycles.
Ed Harris has an illustrious career though. Like that motherfucker's been in everything. He's in Apollo 13.
Yep. The Rock.
Yeah. Oh my God, he is in The Rock. He's the bad guy in The Rock. Mm-hmm. He's in...
There's your military character.
That he always plays that guy. He's in Westworld, if you guys have watched the new West... Oh my God.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the movie.
No, that movie's fucking garbage.
I still want to watch it.
The show is fantastic, though. You should watch it.
I know, I just...
But he has he's a main character in Westworld as well. I mean, he's in, like, so many... Yeah, he is. Oh my God.
I actually don't
that movie's amazing.
You're rewatch it.
Okay. Please
rewatch it. Yeah, you're gonna really like it.
Yeah, I love it.
And then I believe he played the football coach in Disney's We Are the Titans or Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
he looks like a coach. Like
and he was like a down south All-American football coach. He did a good job. Yeah.
He's in. I've only seen this movie once, but Needful Things.
Yeah. That's a good movie. I've
only seen it once.
It's kind of a shitty movie, but it's a good movie. Yeah.
Well, I typically I enjoy any Stephen King adaptation. I typically there isn't one that I don't like.
Have you watched Storm of the Century?
No.
Megan's eyes.
Snore. It's like a 4-hour movie about a storm, but it's one of those ones where
it's not like Twister,
happens.
Though. Really?
Nothing happens for like the first 3 hours. Like literally, because it's based on, he didn't even make it a book. He just wrote the screenplay.
Okay.
And it's so awful and boring, I'll lend it to you.
I'm thrilled.
So I just want to say quickly, we just passed the part where you see the dad's skeleton come out of the grave. Did anyone else think, not to like bash my man, because I would never, but I always found that the skeleton prosthetic or mask was oversized.
It's too big,
yeah. You're right.
I thought that
big for a human
It's a little
skull.
like Halloween store.
It's almost like that skull that you wore with the flashy eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one that you have that's like,
that like styrofoam giant skull.
Yeah.
Okay, also I just want to say that Ed Harris's butt, pretty good.
When he's like
dancing,
his dance moves there.
Pretty good.
His
like,
dance moves are just like out of control.
He looks good.
I wonder what they were thinking when they were shooting this scene when he was dancing. They're like, yes, let's keep it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how he dances, right?
And the snooty brother-in-law of Ed Harris really reminds me of, I'm bad with names because I've had a few sips of booze. What is your boyfriend's name who played Robert California in The Office?
James Spader.
His character from Pretty in Pink.
Oh, yeah.
Just like that super rich, I don't give a fuck.
Like snobby.
Like yuppie bullshit.
I fucking wear loafers.
Yes,
like,
with no socks.
Loafers.
Yeah.
Only Don Johnson can get away with wearing loafers.
That's
amazing.
What his family totally puts out that vibe.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
Petty
I know.
And unworthy.
Actually, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of characters in this entire movie that are just like rich, snobby types of people. Mm-hmm. That's hilarious. I never made that connection. Well, Ed Harris, I didn't realize his wife, Amy Madigan, she's the woman in The Dark Half, and Uncle Buck.
Oh.
I didn't know that they were married. I know John Candy. Fuck, I miss him. This is hilarious. He's been dubbed as the thinking woman's sex symbol.
Girl,
you know what that means.
It's like he's got like a Denzel Washington sexiness. He's been dubbed the thinking woman's sex symbol.
Interesting.
I can so get down with that.
Yep, yeah.
Do you know what I immediately thought of? Denzel Washington's fucked up finger.
What?
Does he have a weird finger?
You know how someone's got the elbow?
Yeah, like,
I know, that's Val Kilmer. Yeah, he's got that weird ass elbow.
Yeah, Denzel Washington has a weird finger.
Does he? Is it like like small?
It's like it like comes out further, like almost like the live long and prosper, but just with the pinky, and then it's like got a permanent like kink in it. It's totally fucked up.
Oh, that's fucked up. I'm gonna Google that later.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Well, so let's just go over some like random facts of Creepshow, because we're at the part here where Ed Harris is about to get murdered very, very slowly. Obviously we know that so Creepshow came out in 1982. It's a good year.
It was a great year.
And directed by Jordy Romero.
Yeah. Gotta get our fucking burps in.
That head cleaner beer. We've got our friend Grave Spitter on Instagram sent us lunch meat VHS beer. I'm surprised it made it through the mail.
It's like making me really like hot and sweaty.
Well, it is really
in
hot
like
in my
a good
apartment.
way. No, but like when strong
it's really
alcohol,
strong.
Like I like it. I'll only need one because I gotta drive so muscular. Well, that's a muscular beer.
It is. Well, me and Morgan, we went to VHS Fest and they had this beer at VHS Fest, and we had to split one because it was so strong.
It's 7.3%.
I know. Serious.
That's why I had to sneak over and take a look, because I was like, I remember it being very, very strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that head cleaner for shizzle. That shit is, it's pretty fucking serious.
So Creepshow was written by Stephen King, which is actually his screenwriting debut. And it was produced by Richard P. Rubenstein, and special effects by Tom Savini. We also hung out with him at Frightmare in the Falls.
What a lovely
I believe we
man.
gave him drugs. We gave him some marijuana.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I think it's I mean, we're in Canada. Hey, it's legal.
Yeah, it is.
Did you guys hear, for all of our American listeners, so Canada, I'm sure it's like made worldwide news that we made weed legal. The government had to recall a huge amount of their first batch of weed that they sent out because, like I motherfucking predicted, and so many other potheads, they don't know what they're doing yet, and they sent out moldy weed.
Oh no!
And so many people who had been waiting, like you said, Yasmina, who had been waiting for their shipment, finally got it, busted it up, and when you bust it up and it kind of puffs up, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like moldy. I mean, the government's bound to make mistakes when they're starting a product
just like
from
a new
scratch
business or whatever.
Absolutely. But hey, guess what?
Disappointing.
Ask a pothead.
Yeah. Stop thinking
why don't you just ask somebody? Maybe they'll be able to let you know.
Oh, you didn't
how
know?
It works. You didn't know it?
Your ass better call somebody.
Oh my god, right?
That's a wrestling reference.
Love it. Well, so Creepshow has a 6.9 on IMDb, 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. The budget was $8 million, and the box office made $21 million.
Impressive.
It replaced First Blood in the top spot.
Oh.
It was the highest grossing horror movie of that year, and Jorge Romero's only movie that hit #1 at the box office.
Interesting.
Yeah. So most of George's movies are shot in Pittsburgh, so that's where him and Tom Savini live. And most of Creepshow was shot in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, with the two segments and prologue and epilogue being filmed in an empty all-girls school. I don't know why I enunciated that like
all-girls school
or something. Yeah. I know, I've only had like one glass of wine. I was all like, I'm not gonna drink tonight.
I know, and then I showed up with a bottle of wine and was like, yeah! You can't say
I
no
guess
to that.
so. I can't say no to you. But this is the only movie that George didn't write the screenplay of his.
Interesting. But I mean, if you're going to have somebody write it, like Stephen King, yeah.
Well, the thing is, they had been good friends for a long time, and they had wanted to work on a project together. And so...
How's that head cleaner
and
here?
So, when they found this project, this opportunity, they just, like, jumped on it. So, it's like a super romantic picture.
Oh, I love it. Like,
I love when friends get so jazzed up.
Like two fantastic men of horror just like
getting together. And I had not known they were friends before I researched more into the King element of this movie as much as possible. And then he wrote, like, I'm so excited to work with him. We've been friends for years. This is finally happening. Like, yeah, super cute.
I love that.
Where's my cake?
The lighting is phenomenal.
I'm obsessed with the fucking lighting in this movie. Like, I love the fucking colors of this movie. It's got a very Suspiria kind of mood.
Yeah, the hyper blue, the hyper red, but also the comic kind of look to it. Yeah,
I fucking love it. You know what's crazy? I didn't know this, but Bedelia is the old woman from Stargate.
Really?
Yeah. She's
you know
the
what?
one that
now
finds the Stargate.
Yeah, now she looks familiar.
Speaking of James Spader.
And I love that name, Bedelia. I don't know why.
Really?
I love it.
It is a cool name, actually. I
don't want to name anyone that, but I love it. Like,
yeah.
Bedelia.
Oh, this story. We've moved on to the next story.
Okay, so now we're on the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill.
Which
am
is
I saying that
so
right?
great.
Jordy Verrill.
Yeah, I've...
Megan's like, I have so much to say.
I know. So obviously, anybody who's been listening to the podcast for a long time knows that Megan is a huge fucking King fan. But this was the first major role in a film for him, and he wrote it as well. So before that, he was just like a cameo in Knight Riders. I don't remember him.
Yeah,
I actually
we
don't
didn't watch
remember
the entire
Knight
movie,
Riders.
yeah.
I kind of like. I'm sorry for all the like fans, but like I don't know.
I don't know. Motorcycles and jousting. I mean, how many fans are out there? Like 2? Like, write us a letter.
Knight Riders is about motorcycles and jousting. What's David Hasselhoff with a car? What's that about? What's that called?
You mean Knight Rider?
Okay, why they have the fucking same name for 2 different goddamn things?
It is.
Oh,
it's exactly the same name. There's an S. That's the only difference.
Yeah, there's.
She's like,
I was like, wait,
I've
I don't
stated
get
our
what do
case.
they have to do with it common with each other?
God damn it, Hollywood.
Well, he was allergic. Apparently, Stephen King was allergic to the makeup. So when he had all the like, what is that shit called? Moss.
yeah, I guess it's like
girl.
green. Yeah,
Got it.
moss.
I know words. And so he was allergic to it, and he had to get shots and allergy pills to make it bearable. But so I'm just gonna skip ahead to my Stephen King notes here. But I think Megan, if you wanted to start this segment of
talk about all
this
that.
episode and discuss how you fell in love with Stephen King. Tell us, what was the first book that you read of his? What drew you to his stories?
Oh my god, you sound like my therapist. I love this. I feel so comfortable right now in this moment.
I should be a therapist.
Well, my mom used to read his books when I was growing up as a kid, and when I couldn't sleep, I'd crawl in bed and she'd read them to me, and the first book she read to me was Insomnia when I was like 8.
Oh, that's actually kind of like fitting though.
Yeah. So, right? Oh my god, I never thought about that. So, anyways, I've developed this like huge like you like someone's books, but like it reminds me of my mommy.
Yeah.
So I like have a huge love for it. Mm-hmm. The best thing I want to say about Stephen King's character in this is everyone. Before I read about it, I was like, he overacts in every one of his roles ever. But in this one, it's like he's so corny and he's so silly. When in fact, he was told to act like Wile E. Coyote, to make faces like Wile E. Coyote would make going off a cliff. He was directed to make these
to be over the
like
top.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be this like super quirky, silly. So anyone out there who's ever been like, oh, I don't like that one segment or what have you, it wasn't Stephen King not knowing how to act. He was literally directed to be the silliest, cartooniest motherfucker imaginable.
He definitely succeeded. It is very goofy.
Like, look at,
His like teeth and stuff. Yeah.
His big buck teeth.
I kind of love it when people cosplay as him. For like Halloween. Like I've seen some really fucking cool Jordy Verrill Halloween costumes. I love it.
So it was first published in Cavalier magazine, the story The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill, in 1976, but it was called Weeds by Stephen King, of course. Loosely based on The Color of Space by H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which Stephen King says that Lovecraft was a huge influence on him, not only as a writer, but as a fellow East Coaster.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, because he's Providence.
Yeah, they all grew up kind of in the same region, obviously in different times, but the title, The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill, the reason why he switched it to that is because Stephen King is a huge rock and roll fan, as any Stephen King fan will know.
Right.
And it's a reference to Bob Dylan's song, The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll? Hattie? Hattie? I don't listen to Bob Dylan, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
But anyways, it's a reference to a rock and roll
cool.
song. So that's very cool that you have all these little secret loves that he puts into his own work.
I know that he loves AC/DC because it's like the entire Maximum Overdrive fucking soundtrack is all AC/DC.
Yeah.
Well, when he was a little kid, he witnessed his friend being hit and killed by a train. Did you know that?
No.
So he has no
sad.
recollection of the event because he was so young, so it was very traumatic.
Yeah.
His mom said that he came home speechless and in shock. He's had a pretty fucked up childhood, actually. Not also that, but he when he was 2 years old, his father fucking like disappeared. So he said that he was just going out for a pack of smokes, but he just never came back.
Oh my god, I was actually gonna make that fucking joke. But that's like really what happened. That's like a fucking like cliche, like, oh yeah, went out for a pack of smokes and never came back.
King, dude. His dad like was like, I'm going for a pack of smokes, and he never fucking came back. And he later when he was going through his stuff in his attic, he found an H.P. Lovecraft collection of short stories, and that's what inspired him to become a horror author. So Carrie was his first novel, and I really like that he also has a pen name because I'm sure he probably got associated with like only writing horror. So he used the pen name Richard Bachman, named after BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Oh my god, are you serious?
As more of like his rock and roll love. And so he wrote, a lot of people don't know that he wrote The Running Man, which was later turned into a fabulous movie.
That's fucked up that a lot of people don't know that.
I have posted like you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
You bitch, you were lying.
You bitch, she says. You bitch.
You bitch. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, Stephen King wrote The Running Man, but he used his pen name because he didn't want people to be like, think that The Running Man was supposed to be horror when it's not.
Right. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I guess if you get like kind of pigeonholed into something, it makes sense that if you want to try to go outside the box to do something different like that, but I didn't know that. So anyways,
he actually references Richard Bachman in The Crate. The two main characters, like the bitchy wife and the main protagonist, are Richard and Tabitha.
Oh!
And Richard is about Richard Bachman, and Tabitha is his wife's name.
That's right.
So he made a little... See, it was so
yeah, I love it. Yes, I do like it when people involve their personal lives and their stories in like movies and screenplays. Like it just like, you know, it's touching.
Yeah.
But he also like directed Maximum Overdrive, which I didn't know.
Which explains a lot.
Yes, like all the AC/DC. And he also loves Judas Priest and Anthrax, which
That's
love.
cool.
That's amazing. And him and Mick Garris wrote that fucking Michael Jackson's Ghosts. Remember that?
That was amazing!
Really?
I just remember the CGI. Megan's like,
no.
You know what? It's like,
the fat suit that Michael Jackson
yes,
wears
oh
in
my god, that shit
is real.
I remember the fucking day that it was on TV.
I remember
like it was
that
a
shit.
huge fucking deal.
Like back in the day, for all you kids listening out there, you couldn't just stream it. You couldn't just PVR it. You had to fucking sit down
at the
TV, ready on the channel, fucking turn your, like, unplug your fucking phone from the wall, if you can imagine it.
And then, like, only get pee breaks during commercials, gotta rush back. But I remember when Ghosts fucking premiered on TV. Yeah. It was a Friday, if I remember correctly. I definitely remember that. And so I also did not know, did you know?
Tell me.
That fucking Stephen King was in a band. He plays guitar.
Yes! No, I knew that. He also has a radio station.
Oh!
In Maine, yeah. He is a huge rock and roll lover.
He is a rock and roll guy.
Rock and roll. That's awesome. But yeah, he played guitar for a band called Rock Bottom Remainders, and Matt Groening is in the fucking band with him. Creator of The Simpsons.
What?
Yeah, isn't that fucked?
Really? What?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
I know.
If I were in a band with them, I would smash a guitar at the end of every practice because I'm standing in a room with two of the richest people in existence.
I know.
I would just smash guitars all day long.
And light them on fire. Long. Burn them. Yeah. Burn them all.
Well, Stephen King's, his favorite film adaptations of his books are Stand By Me, The Shawshank Redemption, and The Mist. You got something to say there?
No, just that The Mist was really, really scary. Yes. We already talked about it. Oh, actually, no, we talked about it. If any of our listeners saw the interview that we did with Onyx the Fortuitous, and he had asked us which Stephen King movie scene was the scariest for us individually, and mine was a scene from The Mist. And so the fact that it's one of Stephen King's favorite adaptations, like, makes me feel like we're even, like, closer a little bit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Don't you have a fucking death mask or whatever? I have like a cast of his face. That's cool.
Yeah. Also, when I get drunk, sometimes I want to color it with markers.
No!
Washable. Use the washable ones. Like the ones that you write on the fucking in the bathtub and like.
When I'm drunk, I'm like, shit. I'm Picasso. I'm gonna make this shit beautiful.
Right? You could like give him some black metal makeup.
Oh, that's funny.
Whatever. I actually want to mention one thing too. Did you ever write Stephen King?
Bitch, you know.
Okay, I remember the story. Okay, please. Indulge me.
I did, and I got a letter back because I mailed the letter to his home address instead of his fan mail address.
Right.
And so I got a letter back from his personal assistant, I assume, saying, while we appreciate that you like Mr. King, don't ever fucking contact him at his house again. Like, essentially, you know what I mean? It was like...
I'm sorry, I just really like him.
I'm like, I don't know, I was younger, and I don't know.
I love that though.
And I have it still. I have it framed in like a bottom drawer of something.
That's amazing. You gotta put it on the wall in any place.
I don't like people to think I'm a stalker, but it's not hard to find people's addresses anymore. It's no secret where people live.
With the age of the internet, that's a simple task. But like, for like, what year? How old were you?
Oh, I wasn't that young. I was out of high school, definitely.
So you were a teenager?
Nope. I was in my 20s. It was probably 10 years ago. I was probably 21. 21, 22. But here's something. How many people out there wonder, because there's all these fan mail addresses for any number of celebrities.
Yeah, absolutely.
A, do they all go into a box that get incinerated without being read? B, do they hire someone to read them and save the special ones?
That's a good question.
Because when people, let's say Ellen will get people on, Ellen DeGeneres, probably the most famous under Oprah female in the history of our time, getting all these letters, she'll get people on her show saying, you sent me a letter and I had to get you on the show. Who decides that she gets to read these letters and not these letters? Do you know what I mean? Like, how does fan mail work? Because I need to know.
I will tell you that, mind you, I have never been Oprah. I have never been Ellen. But I have been myself in my experiences. And while I don't think I've ever, like, accumulated, like, hundreds of thousands. Like, I could imagine that, like, Ellen is, like, say something about this. And, like, she probably gets, like, fucking 50,000 fucking messages about it. At the height of Kitty's career, when we were doing, like, very, very well, we would get letters sent to the record label, and then they would mail us, like, a box. And from my experience, I'm sure, like, Ellen, Oprah, they probably have, like, interns. Right. Or people that, like, they probably have, like, 10 or 15 interns that will literally will open every piece of mail and read them and say, if this is an inspiring story or this sounds more interesting than, like, you know, something creepy or whatever, they'll put it aside, and then they'll probably go through them to a point where they'll go through a couple tiers where it's like, okay, so maybe this one is more interesting than that, you know, who gets to win, basically. It'll go through a couple different cycles of whatever, and then they'll choose something. For us, I remember we would get, like, boxes of mail, and we would literally invite everybody over and just start reading shit out loud, and we would get, like, fucking jail mail. The jail mail ones were the jail mail. Yes! The guys that were like, I remember one guy, I don't even know who it was or whatever, where he was from, but I remember him saying that he got a poster from, like, Metal Edge magazine, and it was up in his cell, and him and some other guy got into a fucking, like, fight about the poster.
In jail!
Like, fist fight over, like, the Kitty poster or whatever. Anyways, So I'm sure that there is somebody that does read that stuff. And I'm pretty sure that Stephen King obviously might not have been the person that was reading it. Maybe
Definitely not.
Maybe it was his wife or something though. Who knows?
Tabitha.
Who would have?
Definitely not.
No. But
my letter was telling him like, I really like this band, and I think that you would too.
Yeah, we should be best friends.
Yeah, I love that.
That's adorable, though. That's adorable.
Love that. That is fucking amazing.
I think I wrote a letter to Jonathan Brandis like when I was like 10 or something.
Good.
I'm glad.
I think I
did. So cute.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I wrote to Marilyn Manson one time.
And we're leaving all of this in. P.S. This is like, this is fucking great.
Did he ever have a chick in his band?
No, I don't think so.
Good. I'm glad, because I definitely wrote, I really look up to the chick in your band, because I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. I just assumed.
That's amazing.
Yes! That is
awesome.
fucking amazing.
Hilarious.
I love it. Oh my fucking God.
Well, before we move on to the next segment, I have a couple more things to say about Stephen King. So, he was on Celebrity Jeopardy with David Duchovny.
Really?
Did you know that?
No.
And
did they sword fight?
I know, right? Fuck yeah, man, Mulder. And did you know that Stephen King wrote an X-Files episode with Chris Carter?
Yes.
And it's the episode called Chinga, and it takes place in Maine, and it's about people who have like a weird skin disease. Yeah, I did not know that.
I did not know that.
So I'm just gonna mention like just a few random like my I typically enjoy, like I said earlier, any Stephen King adaptation. I guess I haven't seen Storm of the Century yet, but obviously The Shining is a big one.
Yeah.
Christine.
Yeah. Oh,
Christine is great.
Pet Sematary.
Amazing.
Apparently Jordy Romero was offered to direct Pet Sematary.
I'm glad he did.
But he dropped out when filming. I guess I wrote filming wrong in my notes. filming. Delayed. Filming delayed. Then it was offered to Tom Savini, but he passed on it as well. So obviously Sleepwalkers is like a big one for me. I fucking love Sleepwalkers.
Sleepwalkers is fantastic.
Yes.
It is fucking fantastic.
I recently watched Graveyard Shift with the Rats.
I like that
That's
one.
That's a fun one.
It's not great. Like, it's not great.
It's enjoyable.
It's good,
It's definitely like the cover of the movie with like the skeleton with the hard hat.
Yeah.
It's very nostalgic to me.
Yeah.
Thinner is obviously a really good one. Me and Morgan tend to like put our hands on our faces and go thinner.
That's really gross, you guys. There's a ton of bacteria.
Yeah, we're weird.
Hands.
Yeah.
And Misery is fucking.
That is.
That's
one
a
is fucking
great
awful,
one.
but great.
Definitely Salem's Lot.
Are you just going through? Yeah. What? You're not. They're all good.
They are.
I know. I'm like listing. They're all
These
good.
are my favorites.
All right.
These are my favorites. I really like Salem's Lot. It's creepy, and The Stand is one that always is very. I'm very attached to The Stand because me and my brother used to watch it a lot when we were kids because we had it like taped on a VHS.
Hell yeah, Molly Ringwald. That bitch was hot.
Was she in it?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Right. She was the main character.
MON. That spells moon.
You know what?
Gary Sinise is in it as well.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking people in
Lieutenant
that.
Dan.
I ain't got no legs. No, you got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. You got no legs.
That's my
man, that's fucking amazing. You know what? I never really read too much Stephen King, but The Stand was one book that I did fucking read when I was young,
so thick.
and it was so.
Yeah, that's a fucking thick bitch.
The thing with The Stand,
book,
though, Morgan, and a lot of people who, and I myself included, have a problem, not a problem, but a hard time with a lot of his earlier books because it takes at the very least, half the book to get into the book.
Yeah.
All of his books. They're so thick, and he does so much character development that it takes you like 300, 400, 500 pages to even get to anything scary in a lot of his older books. That's when he was doing a lot of cocaine, and he was getting, he was
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
No, it's
yeah.
And so it's like that is a big book, but The Stand was one that kind of got in right away.
Yeah.
Which was really uncommon for a lot of his books at the time.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it had that big draw that The Stand
for sure
definitely in like his top 5 most purchased, famous.
Absolutely, yeah. I found it to be really enjoyable, and I read it at a time when I probably was too young to be reading it. I don't know, I might have been like 12 or 13
I was
when I read
definitely
The
very
Stand.
young when I read it. And I was like, this shit is fucked.
Yeah.
But there's an orgy in that one.
Man.
You're way too young.
I know.
Like, I remember, like, my mom loved The Stand so much that she had crows that she would feed in the front of our house. And the main male crow, she named him Randall because of The Stand. I thought that was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I like The Shining, like the book The Shining, because I like all the the story about Jack and his friend before they even go to the hotel. I feel like that's kind of pivotal to the story.
That's pivotal, and like the creatures, the shrubbery creatures coming to life played like a huge part, and like the fact that you said you really like that representation as one of your favorites is like, I think it's super common, and I definitely agree, but we've talked about it before. Stephen King
hated it. I know.
Really?
They took so much out of that movie. They took a lot out. They made Wendy this, like, shivering, like, character, when in the book, she was this powerhouse of a character, and he hated that.
Yeah.
That they took that away from her and made her this meek, timid woman.
Typical Hollywood.
Yeah. And I think that's important.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it just goes to show that, like, really pretty much, like, any movie adaptation is not ever going to live up to the standard of the written word, because your mind and the words can create so much more of the environment and the characters and whatnot. And so, while there's a lot of times, like, great movie adaptations, it never really, like, lives up to that expectation.
It's one person's view on it, though.
Exactly.
It's the director's view, or it's the screenwriter's view. It's not what you're imagining in your head, or what you're imagining, or what you're imagining is so different than what I'm imagining.
Exactly.
And then one person gets to be like, I get to pick what everyone looks like.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, it's tough.
Okay, so now we are on to something to tide you over. So another one of a newly found Megan's boyfriends that I did not know of. And Ted Danson and I share the same birthday. I bet you didn't know that.
No, I did not.
No.
That's the only thing I know about Ted Danson is that we have the same birthday.
That's cool.
When I was a kid, I used to think it was pretty cool. I was like, yeah, Ted Danson's getting the same birthday as me. But yeah, so Leslie Nielsen is a fantastic man. He has acted in 250 titles.
Holy shit.
I found out a lot about him when I was doing my research about this movie. He was legally deaf, and he wore hearing aids for most of his life. Forbidden Planet was a movie that I first watched of his, and he's very young in that movie, and it's a very serious role. Have you seen Forbidden Planet, the robot?
No, but they sing it in Rocky Horror Picture Show, the opening.
Yeah.
Brad and Janet, Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Aww.
It's a cute movie.
Night, double feature picture show.
It's definitely, Forbidden Planet is like one of those like 60s like robot movies that's just adorable.
Tell me the robot has like air ducts for arms.
Yes, for sure. Like the fucking robot from Rotor.
Yeah,
like totally like that. But yeah, so after that, he obviously did more comedy, like the Naked Gun movies. I always remembered 33 and a Third with Anna Nicole Smith. Like that one was absurd.
Also, was he in Hot Shots? Yeah, he's in Hot Shots, isn't he?
I don't remember. I haven't seen Hot Shots
sure he
in
is.
a while.
And Repossessed.
I've never seen Repossessed. I know, I need to watch it.
Repossessed. There's like a weird song.
There's a song? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I definitely
Dracula Done Loving It.
Yeah, oh my god, that movie is hilarious. I fucking love that movie when he like when he's like eating the bugs and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Raspberry.
Do you remember how well do you guys remember Airplane?
Not as well as I remember.
Robert Stack is in that, isn't he?
Dude, Airplane is fucking funny. It's a pretty funny movie. But in 1994, Leslie Nielsen and George Kennedy played sleuths for a WWF match that unraveled the mystery of The Undertaker. Okay, I used to watch wrestling a lot in the 90s. I used to watch wrestling a lot in the 90s. The Undertaker was like my favorite fucking wrestler. And do you remember, I don't know how well you remember this, Morgan, but like, do you remember when The Undertaker like kind of disappeared for a little while? Mm-hmm. And it was like this big mystery. And he came back and they like unraveled the mystery, and him and fucking George Kennedy were the ones that like that starred in that match.
Really?
And like they like
That's
told the story, like, and we're like, The Undertaker is back, and it was like a huge fucking deal. It was at the Royal Rumble, I think. But I remember fucking, like, when The Undertaker, like, disappeared and everybody thought he was dead and everything.
Girl, that's some deep cuts. Like, you're getting into some shit that I'm like,
haven't even gone through, like, most of my notes here. Fucking. But, yeah, this is adorable. Leslie Nielsen, I feel like, Morgan, your mom would appreciate this, loved farts. He loved farts. He thought they were just the funniest thing of life, and he used to carry around a portable fart machine.
Morgan, why would your mom love that?
Because her mom
because
also
my mom
loves
is
farts.
like that as well. She's like, literally the most juvenile like person ever. Like farts like make her laugh until she cries. It's just like a silly thing.
Yeah. And he used to prank people with his portable fart machine. And get this, his epitaph on his gravestone says, "Let her rip."
Let her rip.
Yeah. Oh my god, that is adorable.
I know. It's pretty fucking adorable.
He did actually carry a fart machine on the set for this movie as well, apparently.
Yeah, apparently carried it with him everywhere.
Yeah. Had it in his...
I mean, farts are fucking funny.
They are funny.
Yeah, they are pretty funny. Well, Ted Danson, for the scene where he's underwater, like, I think he was in a fish tank or something. Like, that's how they shot
a fun scene.
Yeah, so when he's, like, underwater, I think it's about to happen right now. He's, like, buried in the sand. His hair is fabulous. Can I just
I was
say
gonna
that?
say, like, it's pretty good.
Well, I was gonna say, in that scene, it's, like, floating.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, ultra blue. It's, like, this aqua blue in that scene. I love it.
But he, they made, like, a little aquarium tank, and he got in a wetsuit, and he climbed into it, and someone would reach down with an oxygen tank, like, ventilator, so he could breathe in between takes.
That is terrifying.
Creepshow was actually his third movie. I used to watch Cheers. Did you guys ever watch Cheers?
No,
in passing.
For me.
In passing.
Really? I watched it.
I'm like so much younger than you.
I mean, like what, like 4 years?
Yeah. But that means when you were 8, I was 4.
Yeah, that's true. It's a big difference.
You know what I mean?
Like,
when we were young, it's
like you could be like 30 and 35 and we'd be like the same.
It's
but
like 10-year-old you trying to date 6-year-old me, you fucking perv.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
But fucking George went.
Yeah.
George went.
He's great.
Yeah, and this is interesting. But you know how like him and Whoopi Goldberg are really good friends?
Mm-hmm.
They were married.
I thought they dated.
No.
Yeah, they dated. They definitely dated.
But they dated, but he was married to someone and he cheated on her with Whoopi Goldberg.
That's
and that
disgusting.
was a huge fucking like Hollywood scandal at the time. It was like all over fucking magazines. There was like massive controversy surrounding this divorce, and it was like one of Hollywood's most costliest divorces in like the history of like Hollywood divorces that cost him $30 million.
First of all, Whoopi Goldberg is asexual, so that doesn't even make sense.
I know, right? I know.
Strange.
She doesn't like. Come on, you don't have reproductive organs.
She doesn't look like she likes dudes or she likes women.
Right.
She doesn't.
She's somewhere in the middle.
Gynon.
She's Gynon.
She is Gynon.
Yeah.
Like, she's like she
has a Ken doll body.
Yeah,
she doesn't
I know.
have genitals.
But they were in a movie together. I remember him being a cowboy or some shit.
Yeah.
And but he was married to a woman and his second wife, I believe. And there was like lots of drama. And he cheated on his wife with Whoopi Goldberg, and it was like apparently Hollywood's like one of Hollywood's like most expensive divorces, and he fucking ended up having to pay out $30 million
at the time
in court,
too.
Which is
That is a lot.
And now
money.
he's married to that mom from Step Brothers.
Yeah,
she's
Dobak's
so hot.
wife, Mom Dobak from Back to the Future Part 3. Why can't I remember?
Why do you know all
name?
the Part 3s? Nobody watches Part 3 of anything, Yasmina.
Apparently, I do.
Terminator
what other?
Part 3.
Oh yeah, I was like, that's hilarious.
Oh man, Leslie Nielsen.
What the
looking
fuck is
all
her name?
Pimptastic.
She's a babe,
fucking Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah, because her and Ted Danson would make appearances on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's right.
Yep. There it is. There's that. Oh, it's gone.
The fish tank scene.
It does look really good, though.
Yeah. Well, apparently Stephen King, I thought this was kind of fun, but he took Joe Hill to a McDonald's drive-thru during like a break in between filming for fun, and he apparently had like fake cuts and bruises and scabs like all over his face and body, and the lady at the drive-thru window called the cops.
I read that.
That is fucking awesome.
I know. Can you imagine having to explain to the police, I'm Stephen King, I'm making a movie.
Right? My son just has fake bruises and
I really
cuts.
don't abuse my son.
That's fucking hilarious.
The same crew apparently worked on Sleepaway Camp. The same crew that worked on Creepshow worked on Sleepaway Camp.
Well, that's interesting.
That's the life. So there is, in fact, a Creepshow museum.
What is there?
So when I started to look into it, the majority of it says there's a Creepshow museum, and it holds the record-breaking amount of memorabilia for this movie.
Okay.
In Louisiana.
Okay.
Cool.
But its other location, its alternate location, is Facebook. So I think that this person or another person with like an equal collection only posts about it. You're not welcome to come in or anything, but they only make posts. So I looked into it, and the Louisiana venue was very hard to track down. Mm-hmm. However, when I looked up Creepshow Museum, like 1,000 links to the Facebook page, and I looked at it, and there's some cool shit though. There's some really cool shit.
Why do they gotta make it so complicated though?
Right? Like, come on, let me into your house.
Well, I was gonna say maybe it actually is just somebody's like weird private collection, and then they stopped advertising because people always wanted to stop by and look.
Yeah,
but what's it just doing there though? Like, if they're not going to let people come in to see it.
That's like you being like, I have so many VHS, but none y'all motherfuckers are allowed to come in and see it ever.
Right?
Or like, I have like the most rare, obscure VHS you've ever seen, and then you advertise it, and then you're like,
yeah,
fuck you though.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, maybe like they want money and they can't get it, and they're just like, fine then.
But don't call it a museum, because the idea of a museum is you go and you look at something in fucking person, like behind the glass, you look at obscure shit. A museum is like where you go in person. Like, Facebook is just fucking Facebook. You can look at pictures, you can Google it, whatever.
My mom calls it Bookface.
No, she doesn't. Yeah. It's so easy.
Your mother is such a cliche.
Dude, she calls Valley Village Value. Everything's backwards with that woman.
Bookface. I go on Bookface.
I seen you on the Bookface.
That is my favorite thing I've ever heard about your mom.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got more. She calls cucumbers cumcumbers.
No, she doesn't!
She has. She definitely has. I'm not making that up.
No, that's one for sure.
So this is what I'm talking about. So we're at the very end of Something to Tide You Over.
Yeah.
And Leslie Nielsen is in this full-blown velour leisure suit. And it's you both. But look at it. Look at the sheen on his hair. Look at
Actually, oh my god, you know what he kind of reminds me of? The fucking grandfather from the Goldbergs.
Yes!
That's hilarious.
His leisure suit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Leisure suits. This part in Something to Tide You Over with Ted Danson and his wife, coming in all, with creepiness, zombie, fish fucking...
Fish fuckers.
Fish
fucking sons of bitches.
Oh, yeah. Fish fuckers. I love the special effects. So we got to talk about the special effects of this movie. Not only are the colors fantastic, the next segment is my favorite, personally, the crate. Because I love creatures. I love beasts. But yeah, so let's talk about Tom Savini, the Sultan of Splatter, a.k.a. Megan's boyfriend.
He's got these giant...
Pecs?
No.
Delts?
I don't know. The ones that attach your neck to your shoulder.
Sorry, I'm just
I don't know.
What?
You're trapped.
Trapped!
Well, there's also traps on your back, but whatever. His whole body
Back
is
traps?
Back traps. his whole body is chiseled. Like, every year for his birthday, he posts a topless picture of himself.
Literally, he turned 70.
He's fucking
looks
jacked.
good.
He's, like you said, he's not in good shape. He's not healthy. He's not, well, at least he's not fat. No, he's ripped.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
He's
a 70-year-old man.
He is sex machine.
And he looks good.
Yeah, it's insane. Also from Pittsburgh. And I know we've said this story before, but, like, Megan sold him a skull, and he has one of Megan's skulls in his house, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And
I should have rubbed my butt on it.
I know, right? Or your twat? Like, to be like, take my twat home with you, Tom Savini.
Like those porns that we talked about before, where the dudes take their big bald heads and shove it up your pussy.
Oh yeah! No one talks about my captain that way!
I know, right? Tom Savini served as a combat photographer in the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So he had to cope with shooting images of destruction and death, and by doing so, thought of it as special effects. So that gave him a lot of ideas, and he uses it now for detail when doing, like, his gruesome work. And it just, like, dawned on me, like, I don't think we've ever talked about Tom Savini, like, in depth before.
Come on!
No, I mean, in depth, though. Like, have we done a movie that Tom Savini worked on? I don't think we have, because there's a lot of stuff that I found out about him during my research for Creepshow. And I was like, I don't know this stuff.
Maybe we haven't. Maybe we've just talked about him in passing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, he's also a fencer and a gymnast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
cool.
cool.
Which came in handy because he's a stuntman, obviously. He can use a bullwhip, and he can do motorcycle stunts.
That's hot.
Which is why he's in Knight Riders.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like using a bullwhip is something that
you're attracted to
could
it?
Do. But, like, isn't using a whip something anyone can do?
No, and I have tried it. It's hard. It's not easy. I remember when I went to Ozfest.
Yeah.
With your sister Mercedes, and they had a freak show act, and the girl had a bullwhip, and I tried it, and it's not as easy as you fucking think.
I feel like I could
crack a whip. It could snap back and fucking hit you in the face.
That's true.
It's tough. It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. But I like how he uses it in From Dusk Till Dawn, like to get the beer. That's
cool.
so slick.
Yeah.
I love that he blows up his own head in Maniac. I love that scene. It's like almost in slow motion too. It's just like so obviously many people know him as Blade in Dawn of the Dead. He wore the same costume as Sex Machine in From Dusk Till Dawn, which I did not know.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
No.
I did not know that.
He directed one of Morgan's favorite movies, the Night of the Living Dead remake.
Oh, yeah. That movie is fucking great. And I love that he directed that.
We should do that movie.
That is a fabulous movie.
That's a very good movie.
Yeah.
Bill Moseley.
That would
Tony Todd.
Yeah, that would be a big
girl.
episode.
That one redheaded girl.
You know. He also directed some Tales from the Dark Side episodes. So Creepshow, for him, was the hardest movie that he's ever worked on because it was basically 5 movies in one movie.
Yeah.
So can you imagine how hard it was for him to make this movie because of this, like, all the special effects and, like, all these different fucking stories?
Yeah, it wouldn't be just like, let's do one monster and we need that for the whole movie. It's like, let's do 5 different things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a big deal.
Some of the special effects are, I mean,
like you were saying, that
Father's Day is makeup.
Mm-hmm.
But the weeds, or not weeds, but the Stephen King story,
the moths or whatever.
Right, the second one. He didn't really have to do too much, to be fair. And then in What Tides You Over or whatever, he really didn't have to do too much.
It would be like the prosthetic for the end. Yeah.
But then in The Crate, it was his first animatronic creation, right? So, like, that would take a lot.
I fucking love Fluffy.
Because then in the last story, which we'll get to, with the bugs, he wouldn't have had to do a lot either. Because it's just cockroaches in that whole segment, right?
Yeah.
They are different segments, but it's not like the only really intricate one I feel like is The Crate. And he had said that Fluffy was a ton of work.
I fucking love it. I love Fluffy. He's my favorite character in this fucking movie. I just love monsters. Well, he also he runs the Tom Savini special makeup effect program at the Douglas Education Center in Pennsylvania. He's written 3 books on special effects makeup, and I made you guys watch the fucking video of him on David Letterman, and he shot David with a prop gun. That was pretty funny. You could tell that David Letterman was like really awkward. Like he was like, I don't know, man, I don't know.
Conan O'Brien would have been much better.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Yeah.
So, I just want to talk a bit about Creepshow itself, like the general movie instead of the individual segments. The music was done by John Harrison, who wrote the music for Day of the Dead, as well as some episodes of Tales from the Dark Side.
Awesome.
Nice.
He also played the screwdriver zombie in Dawn of the Dead.
Oh!
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the guy who did the music for this also did music, like I said, in episodes of Tales from the Dark Side, as well as the movie Tales from the Dark Side. So he had worked with Stephen King and George Romero in all these different projects. And we've talked, I feel like almost every movie we do, we talk about how much we love that a lot of the cast and crew from these movies like travel together and work together and do the same project. So that's just another little like tidbit.
That's cool.
You know, I feel like sometimes the composers for these films get not like the shaft, but they do. No one knows. Everyone knows the director. Everyone knows the screenplay writer or whatever it is. But yeah, I think it's cool that they all kind of did their own shit together. And obviously, this fucking dude from Reanimator.
Is that David Gale? Because I was looking at him.
Yeah,
and I was like, is that David Gale?
Yeah, that's the guy who tries to eat what's her name's pussy.
Fucking Barbara Crampton.
Yeah, with his head cut off. Yeah, that's him for sure.
I was like just literally looking at him and thinking like that guy looks like David Gale, but I don't know if that's him.
Yeah, 100% it is. So that's like it's like kind of cool, you know what I mean?
Hey, we know things.
And I always loved, there's a line in this part where Richard is fantasizing about shooting his wife Tabitha.
Oh, I know, right?
But there's this part where she says to him, "You useless crotch." She calls him a useless crotch at some point, and it is the best insult ever. And I want an opportunity when I can just turn around to someone and be like, "You're a useless fucking crotch." There's nothing more offensive than that.
That is.
Well, we're at my favorite segment of Creepshow. Do you guys all have like a favorite? Because the crate's definitely mine. I think yours. Man. You love the roaches one, right?
It's not my favorite. My favorite is Something to Tide You Over, but I do like the roaches one.
What about you? Do you have a favorite?
Oh man, you know what? I guess we'll talk about the sequels too, but my favorite one is The Raft, and I know that's from the second one.
We're definitely going to talk about the second one.
But like, out of this one, I don't know. It's really hard to say. The Crate, definitely not. I think maybe Something to Tide You Over, I think might be my favorite one, only because I feel like there's a little bit of, I have like a weird nostalgic feeling about it.
It's got like a lot of mystery vibe to it as well, whereas like the Crate is more like a creature feature, which is like definitely what I'm into. But the backyard party was shot in George's backyard.
That's cool.
And the bearded party guest at the beginning, he's wearing these like purple glasses, is Richard P. Rubenstein, who is the producer of Creepshow. And Richard P. Rubenstein, I have some notes about him. He produced many of George's and Stephen's movies / stories. He also produced Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Night Riders, Tales from the Dark Side, Pet Sematary, The Stand, Thinner. Like him and George, they actually co-founded the production company Laurel Entertainment in the 70s. But George left in the 80s to pursue his own projects. So then Richard merged with Aaron Spelling's production company.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's money.
I know. And this is actually kind of interesting. Richard holds the rights to the Dune miniseries and Children of Dune, and he apparently tried to.
It's a Dune miniseries. I didn't know that.
And I have Children of Dune, but I haven't watched it yet. But he apparently tried to produce another Dune movie in 2008, but Paramount dropped the project 3 years ago. After 3 years, but he's still trying to make it happen.
Interesting.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah, I'd be very curious about that.
Yeah. Well, so the Crate obviously has Babe, Adrienne Barbeau.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw her right there in the falls.
We sure did. She looks phenomenal.
Dude, she's a fucking
she
babe.
literally has not aged.
What was those commercials that she did? where she did those like lingerie shots? Like before she was acting, she started like kind of doing these like modeling things. She did like modeling for like, I don't know, like fucking chocolate milk or some shit. In the 70s.
Sexy chocolate milk?
I don't remember what it was for, but it was like an ad, and she's wearing like this purple, like lavender, like lingerie kind of like.
I can
outfit.
see her in lavender.
Yeah. For sure. Yes, I totally can too. I definitely agree with that. But she was married to John Carpenter for 5 years.
That's cool.
And between 1979 and 1984, and they have a kid together. And she was also a go-go dancer for the Mafia.
What?
So in the 60s, before she got into acting, I think she also did some theater and like these like modeling shots, but she was a go-go dancer for a Mafia-run bar in New York in the 60s. And I don't know, that's pretty badass. She obviously was in The Fog. The Fog is like one of my fucking favorite Carpenter flicks. I love that fucking movie. It's so moody and like quiet and creepy. Escape from New York. I didn't know this, but she's the computer voice in The Thing.
I read that and I was like, I can't even. I'd have to watch it and like listen super carefully.
Totally.
Yeah, I had no idea. Have you guys seen Swamp Thing with Ray Wise and her?
Is that the original?
I don't know. It's from the 80s.
I don't think I've seen it. I know what movie it is, but I haven't seen it yet. I don't think.
I like Ray Wise. He's pretty cool. He's cool. Leland Palmer. Yeah, he's cool. He's pretty cool. I met him. He's pretty cool. And she's also in the Cannonball Run with Burt Reynolds.
Oh my god.
I did not know that.
Cannonball Run.
Good old Burt Reynolds.
I know.
Who doesn't love him?
Crazy people.
Right? Crazy people.
Idiots. And her and Tom Atkins have been in 4 movies together.
Cute.
And she released a folk album in 1998, so she can sing as well.
That was cute.
She wrote an autobiography and 3 vampire novels.
Oh, God.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
She jumped on the vampire novel train there for a while.
Fuck.
And her acting mentor was B. Arthur.
Really?
B! Yeah, man. Yeah.
I love that. That is
We were
fucking
talking
amazing.
about the Golden Girls the other day. Like, I want to rewatch that show. I remember that show being fucking hilarious.
It is fucking hilarious. And B. Arthur is like a giant.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Fuck yeah.
So The Crate, the story itself was obviously a Stephen King creation, and it was published in July of 1979 in a magazine called The Gallery for the first time. Jason Goes to Hell, there's a reference to it. There's an Easter egg of The Crate. Now, I don't know what that says.
Really?
I've looked into that, and every article I said there's an Easter egg of The Crate. I don't know what that means. And Jason Goes to Hell.
Like, that means that there's like a fucking like
hidden gem.
Hidden, yeah.
Yeah, and it says Arctic Expedition, Julia Carpenter Horlock's University, which is this university.
Interesting.
And there's a crate that says it on that, as well as in The Walking Dead, there's a crate with the same label.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there's a lot of homages to the crate, which is
cool.
apparently a horror favorite. So
I have seen Jason Goes to Hell many times.
now it's going to be something you're going to look for.
It's like, yeah, I don't hate that movie. I
love that movie.
It's a different kind of movie, and it's got the guy from the Friday the 13th TV show in it. But yeah, no, I like Jason Goes to Hell. Everybody like shits on it, but like it's pretty entertaining.
The scene in the morgue when the guy's like playing with the lady's nipples, like boop, boop. I love that scene. And then Jason, like, he eats him. Like, you know, it's like one of those things
and like doesn't he like eats
he's
like the heart? I know. Yeah, he's like going to town.
Yeah, he's going to town on that shit.
That's awesome.
This segment, when I was younger, I found really dry because it's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Compared to the other segments where it's a lot of creature feature or horror or whatever. This one, there's a huge build-up where the characters are chatting. And when I was younger, I didn't give a shit if you didn't like your wife. That, to me, meant nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I was just going to say, like, I think the reason why it has that build-up is so, like, it's so, like, a big fuck you to her for being such a fucking
when he finally kills her.
Like, when she's, like, such a bitch. Like, and I love how Adrienne Barbeau acts in this movie. Like, she's so good at being a bitch in this movie. Like, she even has that, like, bitch face.
Yeah.
Well, the main guy in the crate, his name is Hal Holbrook, and he's Father Malone in The Fog. And he's also in that fucking badass movie, The Unholy.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That movie is fucking got some good beasts in that fucking movie.
Yeah, the end is like pretty
that's
serious.
A fucking rad movie. He also, this is interesting, he portrayed Mark Twain as a one-man show.
I can see that. On
Broadway and on the Ed Sullivan Show. He actually saw him, Ed Sullivan saw him on Broadway, so he put him on his show, and then he had his own show called the Mark Twain Tonight Show, and it was on TV, and it went on tour as well, which is kind of cool, and he got an Emmy for it. And so in 2003, George Bush honored Hal with a National Humanities Medal for charming audiences with the wit and wisdom of Mark Twain, as Twins' outlook never fails to give Holbrook a good show to put on. So he has an Emmy, and he also has a fucking medal for portraying Mark Twain. That's like what he's known for.
He's also still fucking alive.
I thought you were gonna say he's also fucking alive.
Yeah, no, he's still alive. He was born in. He was born in. He was. No, he's not Kirk Douglas old.
Kirk Douglas is still alive.
He's 103, right?
He's 102.
Something like that, yeah. No, his birthday's coming up. Like, he will be 100. Like, I can't even believe that. Because I saw some shit recently about Michael Douglas getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it was like, this is a big deal. And literally, I thought Kirk Douglas had died like 5 or so years ago, and then I saw a photo and he was there, and I was like, that motherfucker's still alive. What is happening?
It's like Weekend at Bernie's. You're almost like, is he alive?
Yeah,
I know.
Like, they roll him in a wheelchair. He's still fucking alive.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas, are you really alive, or are you a skin puppet?
Unbelievable. Yeah. I couldn't believe that he was still fucking alive.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Because Michael Douglas, I've been watching Michael Douglas has a ton of really good stuff on Netflix right now. Mm-hmm. And so
Morgan loves him.
I've been watching it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, he looks good, but he looks old.
He looks so old now.
Old. And then to think that his father,
he looks like a fucking mummy.
I know.
Like, he looks like a fucking mummy.
To be fair, he wasn't well for a long time, Michael Douglas. So like that probably aged him a lot. But like, he's got to be almost 80.
Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
I think he's at least in his 70s. I think Kirk Douglas was like, he was like having kids like up until he couldn't use it anymore. I'm pretty sure he'd been married like a number of times.
He was like, well, fuck it, I'm Spartacus.
Yeah,
Spartacus. Breathe that shit.
Spartacus.
Why do you guys sound like that when you say it?
I don't know, just because it's funny.
Because we're dumb.
But Michael Douglas, I don't know, Michael Douglas was like pretty cute in like the early 80s.
Dude, Gordon Gekko was sexy.
Romancing the Stone is like, that movie is so cute.
He's 74.
He's so adorable in it.
74.
I love it.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But like, there's something about Gordon Gekko that's sexy because it's that confidence and that like badassery.
Yeah. Plus, like, Catherine Zeta-Jones, like, bombshell.
Yeah.
Like, his, like, I saw what she looked like recently.
Old he
I
looks.
know. Now he looks like Kirk Douglas. Yeah, he looks old as fuck now. Oh my god.
He's not like quite like skin suit old yet.
Not yet. Well, when he's 103 or whatever, I'm sure he will be. Oh!
Like, you know, when you're so old, you can like see your muscles through your skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking sad.
Let's talk about Jordy Romero, the Godfather of the Dead.
Oh, yes.
One of his earliest projects was shooting a segment for Mr. Rogers when he underwent a tonsillectomy. Yeah, did you know that?
No.
Jordy Romero shot a segment for Mr. Rogers. Him and John A. Russo, they formed Image 10 Productions in the late 60s, and they produced Night of the Living Dead in 1968. After that, he did his only romantic movie called There's Always Vanilla. I actually looked it up.
Are you serious?
I looked it up, and he claimed that it was a total mess, and he thinks it's his worst movie.
Yeah, duh.
I looked it up, and it looks very weird. It definitely, like, I don't know. I don't think I'd watch it, but maybe. He has. Okay, did you guys know that Jordy Romero has a cameo in Silence of the Lambs?
What?
Is that a yes or a no?
No.
Yeah, he
that.
plays one of the jailers where Hannibal Lecter is in prison.
I gotta tell you, Silence of the Lambs is not a movie that I have watched. I've definitely watched it at least 5 times. but it's not a movie that
you've seen like a lot.
That even right now, if I were at home being like, I feel like watching a horror, that I would throw on Silence of the Lambs, because it's not a creature feature. It's not a fun horror. It's more of like a.
It's fucking
serious, man.
serious.
I just love the part when he's like, just get in the van. Just get in the van.
You sound like Donald Trump.
You do actually. That's so funny. Oh man.
Stealth. It's called super stealth.
I love fucking. You can't even see it.
You can't even see it.
Fuck, oh my god. I like Manhunter better though, I think.
Yeah, I know you love Manhunter.
That
was the movie that I was gonna borrow off you last night.
Right. Fuck.
Oh my god. We drank a lot of wine.
I know. What the fuck? Actually, wait, I want to mention something about George Romero because have you ever seen the movie called Martin that he did?
Yes, in a college though. It was a long
time ago.
Because I barely remember
I read the synopsis of that movie and he had some I think that's one of the movies that he said is one of his favorite movies of all time. But to me, the synopsis sounded like Vampire's Kiss.
Oh, really? I don't remember
It's like about a guy who thinks he's a vampire.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I would be really interested in watching it only because like Vampire's Kiss is like a movie that is amazing and I love it.
Of course.
And Nicolas Cage obviously is like way over the top in it, but the premise of the movie is so interesting to me. Like when I rewatched it recently and I was like, man, this movie is fucked up. Like, and when it was done, I was like, I wanted to stand up and applaud, like, furiously. Like, this is great. Even though Nicolas Cage is, like, a little bit too much in it, but, like, it's still such a great movie. So, yeah, I've never seen Martin, but I'd be really interested. Have you seen it, Megan? Have you seen Martin before?
No. It's an interesting title.
Yeah.
Martin. Hey, I'm
Martin.
Yeah.
I'm a vampire, and like my name's Martin. I'm really good at computers.
I watched it in college, but I don't remember liking it. But I'll have to watch it again because it's been a really long time. Jordy Romero was offered to direct the first Resident Evil movie because he directed a live-action commercial for the video game in Tokyo, but he declined because he didn't want to make a movie that was based on something that he wrote. And in 2010, this is interesting, Dario Argento's brother, Claudio, contacted George to direct a 3D remake of Deep Red, which is a Dario Argento movie, Deep Red. But it didn't end up happening because Dario was apparently in the dark about it, so his brother didn't even fucking tell him about it.
Cool, that's some cool shit.
And he didn't want to go about it that way, so it just never happened. But can you imagine, like, Jordy Romero remaking Deep Red? That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So right before George passed away, he was going to be working on a movie called Road of the Dead, and he released the poster for it, and it was basically going to be Fast and the Furious with zombies.
No.
So that's interesting.
Megan, your face is literally like...
Because it would have been cool in the 70s/80s, but not in the 2010s.
Yeah.
No.
And so he got his Canadian citizenship when he married a girl from Toronto in 2009, and he passed away last July of lung cancer. He smoked his whole life while listening to his favorite movie score from The Quiet Man. It's an old, like, 1930s John Ford movie, so that's adorable. But yeah, he's buried in Toronto.
Yeah.
So his grave is in Toronto. We haven't gone to see it yet because we're pretty close to Toronto, but one day we'll go check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Another one of his movies that I have never seen, which is also not the Nick Cage, but Season of the Witch.
But
he also did a movie called Season of the Witch, but it's not the fucking... That's a Nick Cage movie, right?
Yeah, Nick Cage and the guy with Hellboy.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've never seen The Crazies.
I've seen The Crazies. I own The Crazies. But I
know they remade it with Timothy Olyphant.
I was going to say, I own the remake.
Oh, okay.
And it's one of those movies that's hard for me to watch because the storyline I don't find to be, and it's the remake, but I don't find the storyline to be that compelling. It's just a movie. It's almost like an M. Night Shyamalan where, like, shit starts to go downhill and you're trying to figure out why people are killing each other. But, like, I don't like movies like I don't like The Purge. I'm not interested in movies
seen any of the
where
Purge
people
movies.
just kill each other and there's no epic backstory. So, like...
Yeah, because, like,
The Crazies to me, like, meh.
Yeah. Well, there's obviously everybody, like, knows George from, like, you know, like, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and, like, all that. But I wanted to, like, talk more about the other movies that like are not really as talked about. And The Crazies is one that I've never seen, but I think I watched the remake, but I don't even remember it at all. But Martin is another one that I've heard good things about, but I don't remember it at all. Monkey Shines.
That fucking movie.
See, I've only seen Monkey. I've only seen Monkey Shines once, and the only thing I remember is the fucking back surgery.
Oh my god, no,
That's the only thing I remember.
That movie is so fucked. That's a movie that I've seen a few times probably in my life, but I saw it at a point in my life when I was young enough to like where that shit, it messed with me. Like the back surgery thing.
That's the only thing I remember.
Jesus fucking Christ. That shit was disturbing. But like, yeah, the monkey is really creepy in it. And just like the whole idea, he's like paraplegic and he gets into an accident and he has this monkey that is like, I don't know, he's like a little helper monkey or whatever to like get him stuff, and like it all just ends up going bad.
It's like starting to come back to me. But I think Tom Savini also did the special effects.
Oh, he had to have, because that shit, that back surgery fucking scene, like it's still like,
well, he also Jordy Romero, another one, The Dark Half.
Yeah,
so that's a great one. And Two Evil Eyes. Do you guys remember?
Two Evil Eyes was amazing.
Yeah. Harvey Keitel. It's an anthology, but there's only 2 stories.
Interesting.
That's a good one for sure.
Monkey Shines for me was one of those, we're talking about influential movie posters in your life.
Yeah.
Monkey Shines for me was definitely one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I
have the monkey.
You see it walking through the horror section.
Yeah,
definitely.
The monkey with the 2 little symbols. And it's just like,
yeah.
So fucking scary.
Doctor says I need a backiotomy.
I also love how in this movie, I remember watching it with my boyfriend not long ago, and Adrienne Barbeau always drinks her liquor with milk.
Isn't that weird?
So that's what I said.
It's like the dude.
I love White Russians.
I was just going to say,
but
the dude.
It's not a White Russian. She literally drinks whiskey and milk.
Ugh.
She's not making a White Russian. She's drinking like scotch and milk or whiskey and milk. And so I had mentioned how bizarre I thought that was. And my boyfriend was like, that's actually super common because you can chug it, A. And B, it like coats your tummy, so it's not like drinking it with pop or drinking it straight or anything where it gives you that heartburn. It's like that like esophageal relief of getting like the whiskey or whatever and milk. But like this must be like a 70s, early 80s thing.
I was going to say it must be like a 70s thing.
No, I know. I have not.
Just like maraschino cherries. We do not put maraschino cherries in our fucking drinks anymore because that shit is nasty.
Yeah.
I just remember like having like White Russians one night and immediately regretting it and being like, why the fuck is it a good idea to mix alcohol with milk?
White Russians
are so good.
It just makes me think of the dude from The Big Lebowski.
They're delicious. You can drink so many of them, but then afterwards you're like, why did I drink this much?
I used to bring my own carton of milk to the Richmond so they could make me some.
I think I remember you telling me that before.
Brilliant.
That's funny. Well, while we're in between the crate and they're creeping up
it's a
on
long
you.
segment.
Yeah, it is. Let's talk about Creepshow 2. I really enjoy that movie. It's came out in 1987, and it was directed by Michael Groening, and he also directed a lot of Tales from the Dark Side and Monsters episodes. And Monsters is another fucking anthology TV show that I am dying to fucking watch because it's just like it's like Tales from the Crypt, but it's all creatures and all monsters.
I don't think I've seen that.
I have never seen it, but I've seen like the segment, like the opening segment before. And but this Michael Groening, who he was also the cinematographer on the first Creepshow. So George wrote the screenplay, and the stories are still also by Stephen King. Tom Savini also plays the creep and also did the special effects. And there were supposed to be 5 stories, but 2 got scrapped because the budget, I guess they didn't have enough money in the budget.
I get that, but why wouldn't you scrap the first one and replace it with something? Because I gotta tell you something, the first story in Creepshow 2...
You don't like it?
I think...
Old Chief Woodenhead?
Take away the fact that the acting is hilarious and the actors are hilarious. The story itself, to me, is lackluster.
You think so?
I really like a shop owner's...
It's kind of like a revenge
thing comes to life and kill... Like, I just found it very...
It's a little more cheesy for sure.
Well,
it's
the
definitely,
whole movie's more cheesy, but the raft is more serious.
Oh,
like
the raft, that one is fucking
the
amazing.
injuries in the raft are really serious, and then the hitchhiker is another really serious, goofy, but still serious and scary. The first one I just could not get behind. Like, we talked about what's his name from Rotor. That is the native representation.
Shoe Boogie.
Yeah.
In that fucking first segment. Like, so cringeworthy. Like, oh, my hair is gonna make me famous.
Gonna get paid later.
Like, the first segment to me is cringeworthy.
I like it. I like it a lot because I do love George Kennedy, but I also feel bad for him in that. But the 2 segments that got cut, they're called Pinfall and Cat from Hell, and they ended up being in the Tales from the Dark Side movie.
Yeah.
You sound like a fucking.
I was thinking the Big Boss Man from the cartoon.
Oh yeah,
kids. Yeah, see, I'm the Big Boss Man. See?
I'm thinking Tony Clifton. Well, Creepshow 2 has a 6.0 on IMDb and has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really? Well, you know what? I don't know.
It's a good movie.
I definitely think The Raft is the one that floats. That movie. Boo! Dad jokes, sad jokes. But The Raft,
dad jokes, sad jokes. Is that what you said?
Yes. I fucking love that segment. The Raft is phenomenal. That shit is really disturbed the fuck out of me.
I mean, there's that really creepy part where that guy notices that she's passed out, so he tries to suck her titty.
Yeah.
Like, what the
There's some fucking weird ass shit in that.
Well, did you also know that fucking Daryl, what's her name?
Daryl Hannah?
Yeah.
Daryl Hannah, yeah.
Daryl Hannah's sister is in The Raft. Paige.
Daryl Hannah, is he from Mad TV?
No. You know, like Kill Bill.
Go on.
Blade Runner.
Oh, the guy who looks like...
No, the girl. Oh, the girl. You're trying, though. You're trying. Daryl Hannah, you know, blonde.
Her fucking name is Daryl.
Yeah, the guy who plays... the guy who plays in Mortal Kombat. The guy in Mortal Kombat who plays Raiden. Daryl Hannah.
Christopher Lambert.
Daryl Hannah, yeah.
Her fucking name is Daryl.
Her fucking name is Daryl. She does kind of look like a Christopher Lambert. With the long blonde, like, Raiden hair. You're right.
Yeah, that's true.
Girl.
I don't know.
You're onto something.
I don't know who you guys are talking about.
You're onto something.
Well, the budget for Creepshow 2 was $3.5 million, and the box office made $14 million. So
that's like okay.
They made a lot of profit. Yeah. But I found it funny that both kids in the prologues of Creepshow 1 and 2 are both named Billy.
Fuck off!
Of course, it's Billy.
And I guess Tom Savini was supposed to be played by the makeup artist because he's the creep at the beginning of the movie, and that character was supposed to be played by the makeup artist, but he left the project halfway through, making the blob monster from The Raft like apparently really hard to work with, and the director like disagreed on a lot of stuff. So that's when Tom Savini kind of stepped in and like took over. But the old chief wooden head, the first that's what it's called.
Yeah.
It's bad. The Hal Holbrook, who is our man here in the crate, his son David is in that segment. He's the fatso guy. Remember, like, the fucking Peyton Lades, like, his buddies? Like, the big fucking fat kid.
Interesting.
That's Hal Holbrook's son.
Interesting.
And but The Raft is, yes, the short story by Stephen King. And this is interesting. Stephen King was arrested for driving over a traffic cone, and he was fined $250, and he paid for that with the money that he got from The Raft.
Aww.
And one of the guys in The Raft almost died from hypothermia because of the cold water,
in the fucking
which
water.
is exactly what happened to Judy Ronson, I think is her last name, from Friday 13th Part 4, the same girl from American Ninja.
Yeah.
She also was in that, like, boat thing or whatever in Friday 13th Part 4. and she had to sit. Half her body was like in the water, and she almost fucking died from hypothermia too.
It's fucked up.
80s.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
No. But the hitchhiker, I love that story. Lois Childs, I believe is her name, is the woman in The Hitchhiker, and she was in fucking Moonraker, like James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
Roger Moore. And she was in The Great Gatsby, like the original Great Gatsby.
Shit.
I never saw the orig. I never saw the remake.
I watched the remake. It was like basically just Jay-Z music over fucking like...
Leonardo DiCaprio can do no wrong, so
That's
I don't even
true,
know.
I know. I love that, The Wolf of Wall Street, that was a great movie. The best review online of it is... There are no wolves in this movie.
Surprise! Fucking surprise!
And she, so the hitchhiker is Tom Wright from Tales from the Hood.
Ooh.
And Stephen King is the truck driver in that segment as well.
That's cool.
So I would like to talk about, because I know Megan has seen it, Creepshow 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Creepshow 3, I don't know why the fuck that movie was even
Brutal.
made. It came out in 2006,
It's bad.
and it actually, Rotten Tomatoes has a 0%.
It's bad.
Yeah, like, I don't know that much about it, except for that George A. Romero and Stephen King have, like, nothing. They have nothing to do with it. And do you remember it, Megan?
No. I saw it twice. I remember watching it twice because my mom was like, "We gotta
watched
watch
it twice?
Movie.
Oh, God. You
So
got
I
thick
watched
skin.
it with my mom, but she's yakety yak the whole time. So then I watched it again after, and I was like, no, it is just as bad. I thought it was my mom ruining it because she talks all the time. But no, it is just a really bad... Like you said, Yasmina, when you don't involve anyone from the original... It tends to just be a garbage
And it was
movie.
like years later, like fucking like 20 years later. Like
Yeah.
why did you even like call it Creepshow 3 if it has nothing like I guess is it an anthology? Like
it's an anthology, but it's poo poo. It's poo poo
it's
caca.
poo poo caca.
Yeah.
Creepshow 3, our review. Poo poo caca.
Poo poo caca.
0 stars.
Well, I also did not know that there's a Creepshow TV show.
Yeah,
that's
it's supposed to be
being
coming
made,
out.
And it's for Shudder. It's going to be out.
Oh, I need to get Shudder so mean.
So it's going to be out, I think, in next year, 2019.
I haven't seen anything yet, and not because I do have a Shudder subscription, but I haven't seen any emails that say anything about it yet.
You're so cool.
Yeah, well, I'll give you my fucking login. You guys can use it if you'd like. But yeah, so apparently it was announced in July of 2018, and it will be produced by Greg Nicotero, who has done like Evil Dead 2, Tales from the Dark Side, Misery, Lord of Illusions, Casino Royale. He even won an Oscar for makeup for Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, he's a special effects
So yeah,
artist.
so he's the one that's like kind of putting it on and producing it, and it will stream on Shudder, but the date is yet to be known. So I'm sure that they'll send out an email.
I'm sure it's going to be
something
a big
about
deal.
it. But I would be really curious to see it. Because, I think it'll be great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really biased when it comes to new stuff, but I'm also like, don't watch new stuff, so I should really talk. But there's also, I know, I still haven't seen that like House on Haunting Hill or whatever.
Oh, it's so good.
I still haven't seen it. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. I didn't know that was also based on a book, right?
Yeah, fucking right it is.
Okay.
Fucking right it is. I got the book. You want to read the book,
Yeah.
bitch?
Okay. All right. Calm down,
Read the book.
lady.
Read the book.
I will read the book. But also, there is a fucking Creepshow web series called Creepshow Raw.
Oh, no. Wilder Valderrama.
Okay, this is
involved in
fucked
that.
up.
Terrible.
I did not know about this. So there's also a Creepshow web series called Creepshow Raw. It came out in 2008, but only a pilot episode.
What the fuck is a web series?
It's like a TV show, but only on the internet, like YouTube.
So I gotta watch it on my phone?
So that's
Yeah,
how shitty
yeah.
it is.
I watched it.
Wait, you think
at
I have
work.
a computer? You think I'm rich? I got some sort of big screen?
Fuck you, web series. You fucking fucks. But yeah, so only a pilot episode was released, and fucking Wilmer Valderrama, whatever, directed it. Fez from that 70s show directed it, and
Garbage.
Michael Madsen is in it,
That's
and
bad.
Wendy, whatever her last name is.
Did you say that's too bad? Because he's hot as fuck.
Yeah, but it's too bad that he decided that he wanted to be in that shit.
And the mom from the Goldbergs is in it.
She's
It's so bad. It's so weird. Like, it's just like, I watched it at work one day. It's only like 20 minutes. And it's like fucking this kid who, there's like a monster in his closet, and Michael Madsen and Goldberg's mom are like the parents, but like Michael Madsen's the stepdad, and he's like abusive and like super shitty. And like the monster comes out of the closet at a certain time, and the kid is like ready this time, but the parents think that he's crazy and like making this up. And then the monster like ends up.
It's like a little. The monster looks like a little like Christmas elf almost. It's like got this long nose, and it's this tiny little thing with like bells on its feet.
Ew.
Yeah, and it's this.
It's so bad. And then, like, so the end of the,
creepy.
like, spoiler alert, like, trust me, you don't even want to watch it. It's, like, so bad. And, like, the monster, like, eventually comes out and kills Michael Madsen for being a bad stepdad / husband. And it turns out that the mom and the kid were in on it the whole time. And, like, they knew about the monster. So, and then she's all like, oh, well, there's another husband. Time to, time to get another one.
Time to find another.
So she just keeps marrying dudes and like this monster in
Why
this
don't
kid's
you
closet.
just take your time and find a good man?
Like, get to know someone. Like, you don't really need a monster to like deal with your shitty boyfriend.
Right, just like tell them that it's not working out for you. You don't have to
Tell
kill
him to take a hike.
We should give everyone relationship advice.
Right? Oh my god.
Relationship advice.
Write in and ask your relationship problems.
On which finger a relationship advice.
Oh, it's Kevin, nope. Jason, nope. The guy in King of Queens, what's his name? Kevin.
I've never seen that show.
The actor. Kevin. The guy
Why
who's
can't I
in
think of it?
all the Adam Sandler movies.
Yes.
Like his best friend.
I literally cannot think of it. It's Kevin something, though.
It's
You're right.
Kevin James.
I think it's Kevin James.
Kevin James does that.
What's that show called?
Sione, King of Queens. He says stuff like that. I'm funny. I get it.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Kevin,
Get
is
it.
it Kevin James?
No, it's
yeah, it
Kevin
is Kevin
James.
James.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
In King of Queens, he'll say stuff like that.
Well, we're gonna give relationship advice. Y'all don't need monsters to deal with your shitty husband.
Yeah,
Right?
because the three of us combined have dated some pretty good guys.
Oh, shit!
Oh shit!
We've made some pretty good choices.
Oh my goodness.
Well, the Scream Factory Blu-ray just came out last month of Creepshow. It includes a 4K scan, commentary, making of the deleted scenes, tour of filming locations, documentaries about props, all the stuff about the colors they talk about, all the different Mondo posters, and there's like a round table discussion with Tom Atkins and Tom Savini.
That's cool.
And
Tom squared.
Tom.
I'm getting the eye rolls over here.
It's all like
Literally,
dad joke
my life
episode.
is dad jokes.
It's
That's
true.
What it is.
So now we're at the final segment.
They're creeping up on ya.
They're creeping up on ya. They used apparently
like hundreds and hundreds of these, and they cost
Yeah.
like 20,000.
Yeah.
Like 200. I don't know. IMDb says 250,000 cockroaches. That's a lot of fucking cockroaches.
I heard most of them were
That's a lot
almonds,
of
though.
No, but
Roaches.
there's the part. Oh, cock! I get it, you slut.
Yeah.
There is the part at the end where they fill up,
Yeah.
and so I get that. But this one it's not my favorite, but it's my second favorite because it's the only one that's, guys, what do you call that when like it's a movie cerebral? Not cerebral, but it's like the premise. You watch it thinking there's cockroaches everywhere, but the more times you watch it, and the point of this segment is to make you think, is he in fact imagining them? Or are they really there? I don't know what that's called. There's a word. Meta. Yeah, it's like these things are like, so it's the only segment that actually like you think, like, was he crazy?
Yeah.
You can see the people being like, I'm here again, you crazy son of a bitch. You and those cockroaches, quote unquote, you know? And there were so many things in the did you knows, the trivia of Creepshow that were, people complained about certain parts of this segment, because they'd be like, oh, he smashed a cockroach with his glove, but when he raised his glove up, his glove was still white. That was an error. And they were like, is it an error? Or is it because the cockroach...
They're just mad that they had to use their brains.
Yeah. And so this is one of those segments where it's like, is he really seeing them? Is he not seeing them?
I never thought of it
and then at the very end of the segment, he's dead, and they find him, but there are no bugs anywhere. Right. So like... Ugh.
That is very interesting, actually, because it's like subtleties that people would think would be something that would be an error, but it might actually... It's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that part,
now I'm gonna watch this in a different way.
Like at the end of the movie, when the segment when the room is like completely filled with cockroaches, like some of them were a lot of like nuts and raisins and stuff like that.
Yeah,
delicious. And it was the most expensive part of the movie, apparently.
Yeah.
This segment.
Almonds aren't cheap. You been to the bulk barrel?
True. I
Shit's
know.
real.
Except don't get them at certain places. You might have cyanide in your
almonds.
Oh
shit.
And this segment cost $125,000. It was the most expensive one out of all of them.
Interesting.
Actually, at one point, Stephen and George thought that they may need to scrap this segment.
Interesting.
If they would have replaced the Hitchhiker story, which ended up in part 2.
Interesting.
So because this segment it cost so much money, they were gonna use the Hitchhiker story, but then luckily it worked out, and then the Hitchhiker story ended up being in part 2.
Yeah. Luckily, they made like $20 million fucking dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did pretty good, I would say. Especially in the 80s.
This guy who plays, I think his name is Upson Pratt.
Yep.
E.G. I'm thinking of E.J. Kirsch. E.G. Marshall. He's in Christmas Vacation.
He's the boss. Is he the boss?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Who else would he be? No, he's not the boss. He's not the boss. Who the fuck is he in Christmas Vacation? He's definitely not the boss, because the boss...
Your favorite song?
Yes, it sounds here!
Morgan loves that song.
Oh, he is the boss.
I think he is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's not the boss. He's the dad. He's his dad. Okay,
right.
He's the dad.
Yeah.
He's her dad. He's one of the dads.
He's a dad.
You know what? He's a dad.
He's dad. Oh my god.
That looks like the stuff you make like date squares out of.
Yeah, well that's probably what it is, because it's almonds and raisins.
Yeah, you would, you healthy stupid idiot. All you eat is health food.
I know.
Oh,
he's eating bugs.
Protein.
He's eating bugs. You can get bug powder. Like, people eat, like, fucking bug powder now.
Cockroaches are
Cricket
the most
powder.
Sustainable protein on the planet. Cockroaches.
I find that to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Cockroaches will definitely be around after
grasshoppers. I'm sorry.
Crickets, yeah.
Crickets,
I've eaten a cricket before.
They are the most sustainable.
It tasted like cardboard.
Like, chefs around the world. I've been watching a lot of like cooking documentaries that I've like looked up on my own and stuff, because I find a lot of the ones on the Cooking Network with like Gordon Ramsay are not, in fact, I don't know.
Educational.
They're very American. They're very Americanized, even though he's not from America. But anyway, so I've been doing a lot of research, and a lot of chefs, multicultural chefs from around the world, are all agreeing that grasshoppers and crickets, whatever, they are
it's the
sustainable. They have a ton of protein. Like, they're all protein. Mm-hmm. Not one part of them is bad for you. They all turn into energy. Yep. You know what I mean? There's like 0% fat. It's like supposed to be super, super good for you. I'll tell you what, I'll never in my fucking life, I would rather lick a fucking tree than eat a cricket.
Yeah, you know what though? You can go to Superstore like right now and go to the health food section, and you can buy cricket powder as a protein supplement. Yep, like it's there now. Like that's like the new thing. Instead of like whey protein, which is obviously from like milk, you can buy cricket protein powder made strictly from 100% crickets. And it's you put it in your
cricket.
Yeah, you can put that shit in your shakes or whatever. But
I wonder no preservatives, just 100% cricket.
I wonder what it would taste like though.
Probably like cardboard. Like, I tried a cricket once, and because I have a friend that used to be in a freak show, and that was like part of her show, and I tried one. It was dead, but yeah, I was like, it just tastes like absolutely like
nothing.
Just cardboard.
Did it explode?
No,
was it dry?
Was really crunchy. It was very dry.
Okay, good.
It was so
that's like, better than that's better.
The squishy thing would be like the gut part would be what would make me very sad about that whole experience. If it was dried out, I'd be cool with that.
In Asian countries, they do a lot of spiced crickets. And like now, every time I feel like North Americans are like, "Yo, well, you can buy chocolate crickets at like the It store, if the It store was still a thing."
Oh my god, remember that?
Yeah.
But in other cultures, they do like a lot of delicious spices with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't like the idea of something's eyeballs being in my mouth.
And everything, like the gut part, everything.
Like the butt, like the poopies.
All the bug poop.
And like the egg sac.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I'll eat fish eggs, but I don't eat cricket eggs.
I know,
right?
fuck, fish eggs are so good. Fucking fish fuckers.
Fucking fish fuckers.
Oh my god. Well, I'm going to talk about some anthologies. Because
I
feel like I feel like we've only talked about anthologies once, but it was a long time ago. So I will mention some movies first and then some TV shows. I love anthologies. They're
great.
one of my favorites because I just like, when you're watching a movie, it's like, you know, okay, you spend 2 hours with the same story. But when you're watching, like, anthologies, there's so many stories. And it's fun. And it's, like, some are bad and some are good. But I really enjoy the fact that it keeps you engaged with all these, like, new stories. And so one of my favorites is... obviously Creepshow and Creepshow 2.
I would say the first, like 1 and 2 Creepshow, like that would be, I would say, a lot of people's number ones.
For sure. I have to mention one that's very important to me, Nightmares.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Nightmares, I watched when I was a little kid. It was on TV, and I caught it right at the middle. So I caught it at the scene, the one with Lance Henriksen in the black truck, and the one with the rats in the house. And I, for years, was like terrified of the black truck one with Lance Henriksen, like, because it's supposed to be Satan driving it. And for years, I didn't fucking know what movie it was. And then one day, I was like, I'm gonna watch Nightmares, and it was just like 3 years ago, and I was like, this is the movie that I watched when I was a kid. And like, I love having those moments when you figure out like what that thing was, like, from your childhood. And Nightmares has stuck with me ever since, and like, I fucking love that movie, and especially the one with Emilio Estevez.
I was gonna say, like, that one is the arcade one where, like, it's like you get to the 13th level and then like the head comes out and it like eats you. Face. It eats you. And Emilio Estevez is literally like 12 or 13 years old in it. He's so young.
I love Night Train to Terror.
That's a good
one. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Richard Mole fucking plays 2 different characters, and he's fantastic. He's got like this amazing haircut with like the Bride of Frankenstein like gray stripes on the sides, and he's also in another anthology movie that I love, Dungeon Master.
Oh yeah,
I fucking love Dungeon Master so much, and just realized that the main dude from Dungeon Master is the fucking dude from Metal Storm, and that like blew my mind.
No, that is pretty interesting.
And Richard Mole is also in Metal Storm as well, and Body Bags.
Body Bags.
That's a great one. Mm-hmm.
That's another silly. Oh, I love silly.
I love it. I love all the cameos.
Yeah, I was
like
gonna
in the
say,
first
so
one,
silly.
and like the second one has like Debbie Harry. And I love when John Carpenter acts. Like, he's so serious all the time, but he's, like, playing a fucking dead body, like, in the morgue, like, in between the segments, and he's so charismatic, and it's so adorable. I know you guys haven't seen it, but Grim Prairie Tales is one that I enjoy. Not. And it's got James Earl Jones and Brad Dourif, and they are the ones that are telling stories, and it all takes place in like the prairies, and but there's one scene in that fucking movie that you will never forget, and I might as well tell you what it is, but a woman's like fucking this dude, and she sucks him up in her wahoo, it's so fucking ridiculously absurd. The Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I love the opening segment with Dan Aykroyd. And I will say that at one point, Dan Aykroyd was adorable.
Oh, God, yeah. Of course.
And Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
And the Twilight Zone movie, I love that part when he's like, you want to see something really scary?
Yeah.
I love that part. Waxworks is okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
My boyfriend,
it's
Zach
okay.
Callaghan. We're gonna get married. No big deal.
Oh yeah.
But Waxworks isn't an anthology?
Well, okay, because
like ish.
It is ish. I will say it is kind of, because like, yes, it has like You're right. It's debatable because it doesn't have a host in between the stories or anything, but it is a movie that it has the movie part
segmented.
But then when they're in the wax museum, and then when they each go into the rooms, they
and it's silly and it's campy. Yeah, and
I just remember watching Waxworks when I was a kid, and the part when the girl eats the flesh, the bloody. Like flesh
Tom, I see
parts.
you, honey.
We're at the end of Creepshow and Tom Savini
as
the garbage man, and so Tales from the Hood.
Oh,
one of Megan's like favorite.
Tales from the Hood is horrifying. I watched Tales from the Hood too.
I was gonna say
I got a ton of grief from people. Like my fucking Insta blew up with people being like, it was garbage. It was so terrible. It was trash. Okay, compared to the first one was really upsetting. It was really political. It was really serious. The deaths, I mean, you were seeing a population that has been marginalized, you know what I mean, in America for so many years. You were seeing them get the shit kicked out of them and murdered by white people, and it was really upsetting.
Yeah.
The first one was fucked up. The second one, there's like big giant dolls fucking women and like spewing out doll babies from her pussy. What? And like there's a it's
That's
the best
crazy.
And there's like a segment where like this black man is reincarnated through like a white man, and he's like talking super, it's like this funny like, hey y'all, and it's like this God. It's like this really crazy interpretation, and like it's silly as fuck. However, who doesn't like a silly movie, though?
Yeah.
I think that's
it's just different.
The people who watch the second one expecting it to be as dark and serious and moving as the first one were, like, offended by it instead of just watching it and being like, okay, they made a second one. It still is all to do with Black Lives Matter and black rights and the comparative, like, white man to, like, the black man storyline like the first one had. But it, like I said, it was just fun. Like, it's just... Yeah, like a white woman gets pregnant by a black doll and starts spitting out black doll babies through her pussy.
Oh my fucking God,
it's
that's
like
hilarious.
It's the funniest shit ever. So I really enjoyed it. Haters out there, I'm sure, are gonna like blow up because my Instagram blew up when I was like, it's good so far. People were like, you're fucking stupid. Like, people lost it. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Relax, it's a movie.
Right? People need to chill. And another thing is like, you probably liked something that I thought was silly.
Yeah.
But I'm not about to, like, rip your nipples off about it.
Exactly.
So, just give me a break.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, does it have, like, the same guy? Does it have the same guy in it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It has, I can't even, because I'm going to sound like one of those politicians who says, like, Samuel L. Jackson is Jamie Foxx. So I can't.
I want to say his name is Clarence something. I thought he was in it. Maybe I just read that somewhere.
It's a different guy. I think it is Clarence in it. Do you guys remember that politician who was talking to... no, it wasn't a politician. It was on like a news channel, and they were interviewing Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yes,
and they asked him about. He's like, that was Morgan Freeman or something like that.
He's like, we don't all look alike. Yeah, I remember that. When Samuel Jackson
you gotta look it up. He literally
Lord.
asked him how it was to star in like some movie where it was legit like Morgan Freeman, and Samuel L. Jackson was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I remember that.
Wow,
that
was
amazing.
So stupid.
Yeah. Well, have you guys seen Trilogy of Terror with Karen Black?
I have not.
No.
Okay, I just watched that recently, and she was a great actress, and Necronomicon is one of my favorites. I fucking love that one with Jeffrey Combs playing H.P. Lovecraft, and like the special effects in that movie are
that
so
one was
icky
fun.
and gross. I love it. And Dead Time Stories is not a good movie, but I will admit that there is one segment with like the witches where there's like a body that's being resurrected, and it's like totally like Uncle Frank, like from Hellraiser. Like that part is the only good part though. The rest of that movie sucks. And heavy metal. I'm sorry, I love heavy metal. It's a great fucking anthology movie.
Oh, like you're actually
like the cartoon.
Talking about the cartoon.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. Tarna, like when I was a kid, like I loved her. I thought she was so badass. Like the girl with like the long white hair. She was fucking badass.
I watched an anthology recently on Shudder. It was called Dead of Night. It's from the late 70s. The only thing... It was interesting. Some of the stories were really good. It gave me, like, similar Creepshow vibe. Not necessarily with the, like, comic aspect, but, yeah, it just had, like, sinister kind of stories or whatever. And the only thing that, the only person of note in it was Ed Begley Jr. But he was super, super young in it. He was in the first segment. And yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. It's cool. Like a 70s kind of vibe thing going on.
Well, when it comes to TV shows, I'm going to, obviously, like, the notable ones are Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the Dark Side, I actually just binged the entire fucking series. And
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
There are a lot of bad episodes, but there are a lot of really fucking good episodes.
Yeah.
Like, there is one episode that it's like engraved into my fucking brain. It was so depressing. It was just about like a girl who is a mannequin, but she has the ability to change into like a woman, and then she changes into a woman, but it's like a Medusa kind of story. So when a man looks at her, they change into a mannequin, but then she meets a blind man. But then she meets a blind man, and they're perfect for each other. And the ending is like so fucked up. The ending is so depressing. It's like wow. But Freddy's Nightmares, I've never seen all of them. I've only seen some random ones, but it has a very Tales from the Crypt vibe. Monsters I mentioned earlier. I love the Friday the 13th TV show. I love it. The third season, there's only 3 seasons. The third season is kind of blah because the main dude left the show and they replaced him with this other guy. But yeah, okay, so it has the same title, but it has nothing to do with the movies, but just disregard that. If you've never seen it and you're a fan of like anthology TV shows, fucking watch it because it's great. And Louise Roby's hair like fucking makes me so angry that I don't have her hair, fucking bitch. And I've never seen Night Gallery. Have you seen Night Gallery?
No.
That's an old one from the 70s. Twilight Zone, obviously,
yeah, of course.
The original fucking look.
Outer Limits is.
I was gonna say Outer Limits. Yeah, I have a few
I have
a couple of DVDs that I found at Goodwill, and I bought them. And some of it's horror, but it's kind of sci-fi horror.
Yeah,
it's like Black Mirror, almost. Some
exactly.
of it.
Yeah, it always has like a technological kind of element or whatever, but it still is horrifying. So
but I think that they needed to do that to because the original Twilight Zone is obviously fucking a million years ago.
I know.
But I think the Outer Limits was the first thing that kind of came out. It's like Twilight Zone Outer Limits.
Yeah.
That's what people think, right?
Yeah.
So I think they needed to make sure that they weren't going to be called like a ripoff or whatever.
Exactly.
So they probably had to go that route.
Yeah, totally.
I don't remember Outer Limits as much as Twilight Zone, but the Twilight Zone I have like some random like VHS, and I still watch it now, and it's still creepy. Like that one with the fucking mannequins in that department store.
Yeah.
Like that one's fucking creepy as fuck. It's like there's a lot of episodes where like a man wakes up in like a deserted nowhere town.
Yeah.
That shit like fucks with your head, man. But last but not least, perversions of science.
Oh yeah,
I've mentioned it before. It's like basically Tales from the Crypt, except it's like a sexy robot lady that's like the crypt keeper, and she pushes her nipple, and that's when the show starts.
Okay.
And, it's like it's only one season. It's like impossible to find, and it's basically Tales from the Crypt, but like sci-fi.
Very good.
I like it. Excellent. Okay, well, I think that just about wraps it up.
Wraps that dick up.
Wrap it up!
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for listening, and it's Sunday night, so I'm actually already in my pajamas.
Oh shit, I
Get
know.
in our pajamas.
I'm gonna walk in the door and my pants are coming off right then and there.
Yeah.
Love you.
Bye. Have